Hello, everyone. We are rolling for another episode of the JJF1 podcast where Jonah and Jordan talk about all things related to F1. Once again, we are on both sides of the world right now, and we are going to rank the liveries of the 2022 F1 cars. We just had the the preseason shakedown in Barcelona because they don't want to call it testing. And we've seen all of these cars on the track. And the way that it's going to work is we're going to go from inverse constructors championships, so starting with Haas, ending with Mercedes, and we're going to give each of them a rating out of 10. So Jordan, how do you, first off, this is our first look at the new regulation cars. How do you think the cars look? How do you think they look aesthetically? The liveries, what's going on?
Well, I actually am pleasantly surprised. I thought they would look worse than what they do look like. I am very happy with the way things turned out. I thought they were going to look completely different, but I see some similarities to 2021, which I'm very happy about because you don't want to fix what ain't broken. And I think they took the parts of the car that were broken and fixed them and made the parts that looked nice the same.
That's I mean, one thing that I've also noticed is the cars look very different from each other this year.
Yeah.
We have some fat cars, we have some pencils, we have Haas. So we have everything.
It's just funny because with these new regulations last year, the rumor was that it was going to be a spec series again. It was going to be the same car, every team, not much variation, kind of like a spec series. But we're getting the opposite of that. And I don't know about you, but I feel great about that.
I am loving the different side pod designs, Jordan.
Yes, and we're going to get into it when we talk about our liveries for each team because every team has a different side pod design. Wink, wink, Ferrari. Every team has a very unique
wink,
looking
wink,
side pod
also
design.
Aston Martin.
Yes, and we're going to get into that when we talk about our liveries, what our impressions are of each car. And the way this podcast is going to work is we're going to take the team, the livery, the car, give it a rating out of 10, an overall rating, and each say our piece about each car and livery. So let's get into it.
Let's get into it. So starting off first, we have Haas. So just to preface, we are using the black and white livery that they're going to run with, not the Uralkali branding one. That is a controversy in of itself that we're not really going to get into right now. But based on the black and white livery, Jordan, what is your rating of this car?
So I'm going to say this. New regulations, blank car. We've seen this story before. 2022 World Drivers' Championship confirmed, maybe like Braun GP. Who knows? Who knows? No, but in all seriousness, there's not really much to say about it. It's blank. It's very plain. But I'm very excited to see how the car performs itself because last year we were treated to, okay, we are going to suck this year. We're not developing our car because 2022 is our focus. And they were right. They sucked last year. So I'm just excited to see with all the work and energy what is going to come out to.
Yeah, that's a very, very solid assessment. I mean, honestly, I think that, I mean, if we talk about the livery itself, it looks a lot cleaner now that there's no Uralkali branding, which is something that I never thought I'd say because, I mean, it looks like a base template of an F1 car, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad because I like the red on the white. And I think that, I mean, I really want to see what Haas is up to. So, I mean, in terms of the car in general, I think I'm going to give it like a 6 on 10.
Yeah, I think you're being a little generous. I'm more giving it a 4.
Okay. I mean, I'm giving it a 6 because it looks fine. You know, like it's not an amazing livery or anything, but it's not a horrible livery. Like we're gonna see some bad liveries in my opinion. So
Fair enough. I think that it's not really even a livery. We would call it a livery. So that's why I'm giving it a 4.
okay, that's a very fair assessment. Okay, so in ninth place, we have Alfa Romeo. So I've seen a lot of controversy around this car, as in the way that people have been rating this have either said this is one of the best cars that's ever been made ever, or this is a completely disgusting car. And in my opinion, I think that it is a gross car. I don't like it at all. I don't like the red. I don't like the different shades of red. I don't like the Alfa Romeo text on it. I think that this is a car that I'm going to give a 4.
Yeah, so I see what you're saying, and it is a controversial livery. I am of the mindset that I actually don't like it that much. I've watched a lot of F1 YouTubers review the car, and everyone seems to love it. But I think that it could have been so much better than what it actually is. I think they kind of went a little easy on the color scheme and the way they placed the colors. I feel like they just slabbed the paint on, cut it out, uh, and did sort of like a red white pattern and called it a day. I didn't feel like, and found it was very lazy to just put Alfa Romeo in cursive. That's my opinion. I think they could have done a lot more with the livery, and I'm actually not as much of a fan of the livery as a lot of people are, and I think that they should have ran the camo livery instead.
The camo livery, some people absolutely hated that thing.
Yeah, I don't like it per se, but I'm just it's all to say that I don't find livery that they're going to be running with the season anything great. I'm going to give it a 5 because it's not a blank livery.
Okay, well, you know what? At least you rated it better than I did, and I find that it's a gross car because, like, the different shades of red for me is what I don't like. And the Alfa Romeo in that font, I mean, you could have just put a logo
Yeah,
instead.
it's weird. It's pretty weird.
Oh man,
It looks like a candy cane. Like it's gonna look very interesting in the night races.
I can't believe I like this is actually becoming real. Valtteri Bottas is an Alfa Romeo.
I honestly am looking forward to seeing how he's gonna perform.
I want to see how he's gonna do too. I'm intrigued. Um, so we are going from Alfa Romeo to eighth, which is Williams. Jordan, I think you could start off on the Williams because you know your boy Alex Albon is on that team, and
Yeah. Look,
talk to us about it.
I am going to say a pretty hot take within the first 3 cars that we're going on talking about. To me, this Williams car is the nicest of the grid in the 2022 season.
The
I
nicest.
I think it's the best looking car on the grid this year. I
That is a
love
that is a hot take.
I know that no one is going to say it. I know that none of the F1 YouTubers rated it highly. I am going to rate it the highest possible rating just because I love the color scheme. I like how they went to a darker blue. I like the design that of on the engine cover that kind of looks like a diamond but is really a W. I love how they put the dark red in with the blue. I find it looks so well, looks so good. And to me, it looks like the cleanest car on the grid. And for a team that has no sponsors, last year it showed that they had no sponsors. This year, I think they did an amazing job covering that up.
Once again, Williams is doing a fantastic job of hiding the fact that they don't have other people giving them money.
Yeah,
That I don't understand how they could back that and say like we don't need to hire paid drivers anymore. But that's a
well, that's going to be
conversation for
very
another day.
interesting to see with what happens with Latifi next year.
Yeah,
But to be determined in our predictions and
yeah.
within the year. But anyways, to recap, I am giving it a solid 10.
10. You know what? I'm gonna give it an 8. I don't think it's the best car. I feel like it's not gonna come as a surprise to what I think is the best car, but I I really like the shades of blue that they did with it and the accents of red and everything. I think that um especially uh like with the mix of also Alex Albon's new helmet and the way
which
that
is cool.
the way that it blends in with the Williams car on top of it, I think that it's just the fact it's a great combo, but it's not the best to me, so that's why I'm giving it an 8. Also, I love the fact that Red Bull is on Alex Albon's helmet and that he's in a Mercedes powered car.
Yeah, he is personally sponsored by Red Bull, the drink company. We seem to forget that Red Bull is not just a racing team, it's also an energy drink business, and he is personally sponsored by the energy drink business. So it makes
They're an
sense.
they're an energy drink on top of that that is making Formula One engines now.
Yeah,
Who like I feel like there's some sort of marketing guy from like 1970. If you told them, yeah, an energy drink company is going to be making Formula One engines and be winning constructors championships and drivers championships, they're going to be like, you're crazy.
well, that's the thing is that the reason why it was so hard to get Alex Albon into that seat is because he is part of the Red Bull family. And so in the deal that transferred Albon from the Red Bull family to Williams, there are two very tight clauses where he still is going to be sponsored by Red Bull. And if you notice, in more than half of the team photos of him where he's wearing regular clothes, he has to wear AlphaTauri clothes in Williams marketing material. And those are two very strict clauses that are in the contract that transferred Alex Albon from Red Bull to Williams, which was very interesting, which is why he's still sponsored
Oh
by Red Bull and
wow.
still sort of in the AlphaTauri family. And so you can tell that Williams wanted him badly because they were willing to go through that clause and not take on personal clothing sponsors of their own if they were able to get one.
That's actually and I didn't know that. I'm learning things about Alex Albon's contract. Good thing that I have the biggest Albon fanboy in Montreal as my podcast co-host.
And yes, I'm very happy he's back in Formula One, and I'm very happy that he's actually driving a very good looking car.
Yeah. Speaking of good-looking cars, number 7, Aston Martin. I don't care what you say. Maybe I'm biased. This is the best car on the grid. Okay? This is what it should have been last year if BWT wasn't going to be stuck up and wanted pink on their car. We're going to see what happens when BWT really wants pink on their car, but this is so beautiful. They brought back the actual green and the lime highlights, the lime slash yellow slash everything highlights on the car and the vents and everything. I don't care what you say. This is a 10 on 10 car.
Yeah, Jonah, when I saw this car for the first time, I texted you and I said, "This is the best looking car in F1 history."
It's
And
so good.
my point stays until I saw the Williams car, because I thought that the Williams had a slight edge with the design of the W on the engine cover over the Aston Martin.
So you're saying that
I,
the 2022 Williams is the best designed F1 car in history.
it's it's definitely a challenger for it. I will say that. But I like the Williams car better. But I will say that the Aston Martin, so well designed. Racing Green is finally and properly back on the F1 grid. And I just hope they have a solid performing car this year, because it's looking like the wide side pods might not be the way to go. The McLaren, the Mercedes, and the Red Bull did very well with the closer, like the smaller, tight side pods. Well, more McLaren and Mercedes. So it's very interesting how they made it flat and round and kind of like an oval. And more so, they have the cheese grater on the side, the
I
cooling
like the
air vents.
vents.
I think those look great. going to be very interesting to see which sidebot design takes the cake.
I mean, if we're gonna talk about our predictions in a later episode, but I have my opinions about the side pod designs, so I can't wait to share them with you. We need so for the preface is we don't tell each other our predictions or our ratings or anything so that we can have authentic reactions. And I can't wait to tell you what I think about next season. So but yeah, how are you rating this car? Because for me, this is a 10 on 10. If I were to give it an 11 on 10, I would be able to give it. I wish I was wearing my Aston Martin t-shirt right now.
I will give it a 9.5. It is amazing. It would be the best if it was in the past 3 years. This
Yeah.
year, I'm liking Williams a bit more.
You know
Just a
what?
bit, just a bit.
Solid assessment. Solid assessment.
But I understand everything you're saying.
Good. All right. Well, where are we? We're number 6. Number 6 is Alpha Tauri. I'm pretty iffy on this car. I don't know how you feel, Jordan. So I wanna hear what you're doing, what you want to talk about
Look,
first.
last year we recorded the same podcast, and I said that I thought the AlphaTauri was the nicest car on the grid last year. And I still stand by that. That is why this year I am pretty disappointed with the AlphaTauri car. I don't think it is as nice as last year. I don't think that it's nowhere near the nicest of the grid. I don't think it looks that great at all, to be honest. I'm pretty disappointed. I thought they played around with the writing and the logo a little bit too much. I thought they played around with the white and the blue, and it's a beautiful blue, a little bit too much. They could have done something really cool with the wheel covers that other teams did that they didn't do.
They didn't put in the white rims.
No, I'm pretty disappointed with the car, especially compared to last year's car. I'm gonna have to give it a 6 or a 5.
Okay. You know what? I'm gonna give it a 5 also, just because I feel like this is the way that AlphaTauri is gonna go, is that they're gonna do a reverse of last year's colors. Like they're just gonna invert, like where blue was this year, now it's gonna be white, and where white was last year, now it's gonna be blue, and they're gonna do that for every second year, and that's just how AlphaTauri cars are gonna look. One thing that really sticks out for me that I don't like is around the side pods and around the nose, there's a white like there's a white line that's trying to put an accent in. For me, it just looks clunky. Not a huge fan of the white wing either. I think it should have been blue. So yeah, because of that, I'm also gonna give it a 5.
Yeah, I
And
agree with everything you said.
yeah, I mean, like it's not
It's very underwhelming this year.
like it's not a bad car, but it's also not a
And
great car either.
because I'm a very big fan of Pierre Gasly, I'm really hoping to see that car at the front of the grid a lot this season. So I am really upset that he's not going to be driving maybe the nicest car, but
Pierre Gasly, drivers champion 2022.
we'll see.
Oh God, Jordan. It's time to talk about Alpine. BWT, look at what you do. I mean, we last year, neither of us liked this car, right? Neither of us
No,
liked the Alpine because we said that it looked like a toothpaste bottle. And now it looks like a very pink accented toothpaste bottle. It looks even worse. I don't like it at all. The sponsorship is so badly placed, and I understand that they want to put pink on it. And if they really wanted to put pink on the car, they could have just used the full pink car that they're going to use in Bahrain and Saudi Arabia the entire season. Instead, they're like, I have a great idea. So on the side pod, we're just going to make the entire side pod pink, and then the rest of it is going to be blue. And it's because of the big BWT sponsor, they have to move all of their other sponsorships upward on the car, and because of that, it just looks too busy. So I'm giving this like a 3, a 2. I don't care. It's disgusting. I don't like it.
I just straight up think that the colors just don't go well together. It's a
Pink and
sort of,
blue. What?
but like not just pink and blue. It's a sort of neon, like very strong blue and a bright pink. And
The pink that can only be described as BWT pink.
yeah, and I just think the colors themselves do not match and should not be on an F1 car together at all. I'm fully in agreement with you, Jonah. The BWT on the side pods is horribly placed. Um, I think they should do the Racing Point comeback car all season long.
If they really wanted to keep with the sponsorship, then they could have just done that.
Exactly. And so I am I'll give it a 4.
Okay, I give it like a 2 or a 3, so you're being much more generous than I am. I mean, for like, if you want to do a quick rating of the full pink one, I think I'm gonna give it like a 5 or a 6 because at least it's not hiding what it is. It's a pink car, but
Yeah, I was very confused with the BWT sponsorship at the beginning. Now I'm even more confused. Yeah, so I will say I'll say the same. It's like around the 6.
okay.
It
Well,
feels like
that's
it feels like Racing Point is going to be back for the first 2 races.
uh don't you miss the Racing Point days where
Yeah,
Sergio Perez won and then Lance Stroll was on the podium twice in one season. Great years. Next we
those were the
have
days.
oh, those were the days. Next we have McLaren. Do you want to start this off, Jordan?
Yeah, I could start it off. It's kind of like the derivative of um last year's livery. They kind of inverted the color placements. The blue used to be on top, now it's on the bottom. Now there's more black. They even introduced a really cool shadow livery. To be honest, the only thing that I'm a really big fan, the only thing that makes me a fan of the McLaren livery is the papaya color. I think the papaya color is a very original, unique color. I think it's really cool. It makes it stand out on track. Other than that, I don't think there's anything to it. Um, yeah, I don't really see anything special about it besides the papaya color um, and the really tight side pod design.
So
Um,
what would you rate it?
out of 10, it doesn't really speak to me. I'd give it a 5.
Okay. Well, look, I'm pretty sure I said that. I'm pretty sure I said that last year McLaren was my number one livery because I love the orange with the contrast of the darker blue. But now they switched up the blue, and I don't like it. I don't like this. I don't like this lighter blue because for me it just makes it so difficult to understand as a colorblind person. So I mean, because the thing is that I could see the difference between the bright orange and the darker blue, but now there's this light blue with this light orange. And like I'm looking at a picture of it right now, and it's difficult to see Lando Norris's number on it for me. And I just I'm not a huge fan. I think that they should have just used the shadow livery that they're using for esports on the actual car because the shadow livery was much better.
I think it's so cool.
But either way, I think this is going to be like a 6 because once like you said, you can't go wrong with the papaya. It's just that the color mix with it is meh at best. So that's that's my take. That's like nothing super special. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
a car that we could talk about as special is Ferrari.
Ooh.
I love this car, Jordan. I'm gonna give it like a 9 because actually, hold on. I don't know. Okay, so obviously people who are listening to this won't be able to see, but I went to Milan a few days ago and I picked up this Ferrari car model of the tractor, as some people would call it, and some people would call it the 2020 Ferrari. This was from the 1000 GP where they went with like the burgundy red or whatever. I really liked it, so I picked it up. Anyways, now you know, Jordan, and for our listeners who are listening, I own a scale Ferrari model.
Which was
And
one of their nicer liveries, the 1000 GP one in Magello.
it was a controversial livery because some people loved it and some people hated it. I thought that it was pretty cool, so that's
I
why I
loved
took
it.
it. But yeah, this car is up there. It's the bright red. They finally got rid of Mission Winnow. Aren't you happy about that, Jordan? No more green logo. I think like you keep on saying all the time. Enzo Ferrari says if a kid is going to paint a car, they're going to paint the car red. And I absolutely love this car. It is a 9 on 10.
Yeah, Jonah, I think you hit you hit the nail right on the head. I love this car too. I love the classic look of it. And there are two things. One is I'm very happy that they went for, just like the Magello livery, they went for a darker sort of red look. The red is a darker red, plus it goes very well with the black wing and the black back rear wing and the front wing. Goes very well. My second thing that I love to see is cheeky innovation designs. And I'm so surprised you didn't bring this up, but that, in my opinion, they have the best looking side pods I've ever seen on a Formula One car.
Jordan, why don't I wanted to talk about this later. So
A
the side pods look really, really good though.
baby can take a bath in those side pods. That's
They're
how cool they
they're
are.
fat, they're wide.
And I love it. I think that is a part of sort of the livery that we're kind of talking about, the design of the car. I'm going to give Ferrari an 8 because I think it's great. I think it's classic. The red, it's a nice tone of red. I'll give it an 8.
I mean, I think in general, also all of these cars are very elegant, right? Like they look like the cars just look nicer this year compared to last year.
Yeah,
I don't know what you think, but my favorite part of these new cars are the DRS wings.
it's my favorite part of these new cars are the longer nose
Oh, I mean,
and the elevated front wings.
yeah, that is a good that's a good pick also. But yeah, it's yeah, 9 on 10. I mean, you give it an 8, I give it a 9. Either way, it's beautiful. It's a good car. Meanwhile, a livery that never ever changes is Red Bull. I mean, look, what did we rate it last year? Whatever we rated it last year, we're gonna rate it this year because it hasn't changed.
6, it's the same, just they added
Yeah,
Oracle.
it's the same. I do like the Oracle branding though.
Yeah, it's good to change it up a bit.
I mean, it's different than what's the official team name now? Aston Martin Cognizant
Cognizant.
Aramco Formula One team.
I don't think the Aramco is in there.
I'm pretty sure it is. I'm pretty sure they have 2 title sponsors now for Aston Martin.
Interesting.
I'm not gonna ask any questions about that. So hasn't changed. What are you giving it?
I'll give it a 6.
Yeah,
To
I'll give it
me,
a 6 also.
to be honest, as the years go by, they don't change it. It gets worse for me because I like to see new things. I like to see them spicing it up a bit, and they haven't really spiced it up so much.
I feel like though for 1 year they should just have fun with it and make it like the white livery that they ran in Turkey.
That was a very nice livery, 100%.
I feel like they should just do that for 1 year, just to be like, hey, we're gonna switch it up, and then go back to the blue, and we would actually appreciate the blue more.
Well, it's kind of like what
see it for a year.
It's kind of like what the team at the top did. They went from silver to black for 2 seasons, back to silver. So Jonah, the reigning constructors champions, what do you have to say about them?
This is gross. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. The more that I look at it, the more it frustrates me because I feel like I'm really nitpicking this car, but I don't I don't like it. This looks like every single bad decision that Mercedes has made within the last few years on their liveries, and they put it together in one car and they removed the black and they went back to the silver. But here's the thing, it's not even a good silver. It's just it's gray. It's not silver. It doesn't have that kind of pop that for example, a Mercedes road car would have. Um, like that's what I think about it. I'm gonna give it like a 5. I'm not a huge fan of the red Ineos sponsorship like last year. I'm very happy they didn't stick 3,000 AMG stickers on it because that would have been even worse. But I'm really not a huge fan of this car. And I honestly like it doesn't look that great to begin with. I mean, I have my own predictions, but I don't think this car looked great. So I'm gonna give it a 5.
Very interesting take, Jonah. So I said before they went black for 2 seasons and back to the silver, or as you say, it's a gray. And you also mentioned the 1,000 AMG stickers they put on last year's car. Last year, I didn't rate the Mercedes so high, but as the season went along, I started to really like the black livery. I started to really like the AMG stickers and the neon green on the front wing, and I started to really like it, more turquoise, I guess. And because I really like their era of black liveries, to me, kind of like the Alpha Tauri, where the year before was much nicer. This year, it's not as nice, and therefore I'm very disappointed in it. And because to me this year it seems more plain than it has ever been,
Mm.
I agree with you about the gray. I just think it looks more plain. I found the black livery gave the car a bit more character, gave the car a bit more meaning, especially um, you know the AMG livery or the livery in 2020 when they had the one green star, which was very nice. Um, I think that it's kind of a letdown compared to the past 2 seasons, and I think they should have stuck with the black because I think the black looked much better now that we're back with the silver. So
Yeah.
out of 10, I'm gonna give it a 7. I'll be a little nicer. I'll
Okay.
give it a 7.
I mean, also, I'm looking at a picture of it right now. The Mercedes car looks drastically different from everyone else's. And that could either be really good or really bad. We're gonna see what's gonna happen in testing and in Bahrain in I guess 10 days time from the time of recording, at least where I am. So yeah, I mean that concludes this episode. Jordan, do you have any closing comments?
Uh, yeah, Haas World Drivers Championship confirmed.
Well, if you want to follow us to see Hess win the world championship, then feel free to like our Facebook page and follow us on Instagram at the JJF1 podcast. And we will see you for the next episode. See ya.
See ya.